and welcome to Garbage Theater. Tonight's installment, Terror in Beverly Hills. I'm your host Chase with my co-hosts Blake and John.
Drink Pepsi.
I think I watched the wrong movie.
Oh, come on now. You got this.
You can't get us with these jokes no more.
I know.
Well, who wants to say it?
We'll let John do it since he's been caught cheating.
What the fuck? So out of nowhere, I've been accused of cheating.
For no real reason, because we haven't really done anything.
Yeah, it's like Blake's just trying to start a thing. My new thing, instead of being a womanizer, I'm a cheater now.
Just say the goddamn tagline.
Let's get this shit show on the road.
All right. Terror in Beverly Hills. How'd everybody like this one?
I don't have much to say, just like this movie.
Well,
there really wasn't a lot said in here.
I gotta say, I'm glad it wasn't god-awful like I was thinking it was going to be. There was actually some stuff in here that I found amusing.
Well, I will say this, and I even texted y'all when I saw it. This movie did accurately predict the future, and I will explain when we get to the part.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear this as well.
Yeah.
John, opinions?
Oh, yeah, it was great. No, I mean, it's awful, but it's it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. We have I don't know. There's a lot of weirdness going on.
This is strange.
And Cameron Mitchell is like the most over the top, like pissed off police captain of all time.
Let me tell you, he is worried about his goddamn pension.
He mentions it 5 times in the movie.
He's got a lot of concerns, like we got to close that door, his pension,
the door.
That plane flying overhead is a big concern.
Yeah. Oh, I got something to say about all that stuff. So let's dive right into it. Terror in Beverly Hills, starring Frank Stallone. Quote unquote, starring Frank Stallone.
Yeah, seriously.
So we'll get to that as well. Okay, we open in the Middle East, and you know it's the Middle East because there's stereotypical wailing music in the background. A man walks through a bustling marketplace.
Well, they showed this. They showed this opening shot, this panning across the city, and my expectation was that I would see like a title telling me where we are.
Yeah. But
instead, it just said Frank Stallone. So I was like, somewhere inside Frank Stallone.
Oh man.
No, it's that Middle Eastern megapolis, Frank Stallone.
Yeah, it's Frank Stallone-istan.
So a man walks through a bustling marketplace when he spots a newspaper with the headline, 55 Palestinian brothers held by Israelis, and ominous music plays. Wow! And then it quickly cuts back to dun 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 dun.
It's just this dude going about his business.
Yeah.
It's just like his normal daily routine.
The whole first 15 minutes of this movie is just the life of a man in the Middle East.
Yeah.
It was also 15 minutes. No, wait. I think it was 7 minutes before someone spoke.
Oh, yeah. If you don't count the wailing.
What I was wondering is how many locals are going to stare directly into this camera in this market?
Well, they shot this guerrilla style.
Yeah.
They just went in and did it. They didn't get release forms for all these people.
Yeah, I guess not.
So he meets up with somebody, and then we quickly cut away to a mosque. And this guy we're following removes his shoes, and he enters the mosque, and he prays. Then he leaves the mosque and puts his shoes back on. And what the hell is this movie trying to show me here?
Too much.
Yeah. Too much. I was like, is the movie going to start soon?
Then he's inside of a shop placing a call, and we find out that his name's Abdul, and he's calling his friend Muhammad, 2 of the most creative names for Middle Eastern people they could have come up with.
But at least they named them. Good Lord, like The president is just called the president.
which he mentions when he's on the phone at the beginning of the call and at the end of the call. Hello, this is the president. And then he tells this whole thing, and then, okay, well, this was the president.
And then he winks at the camera.
Toodles from the president.
That was for you at home.
Yeah.
So he's talking on the phone with Muhammad, and he tells them that they have the orders to go ahead and to meet him at the airport in an hour. But first, he's got to stop by the grave site of who we have to assume is his wife and child. We don't spend too much time there, and we're off to the airport, where he's dropped off in a cab, and the plane takes off. Inside the plane, the flight attendant comes up to Abdul and Muhammad and asks them to fasten their seatbelts. Abdul shows that his is connected up correctly, but then she reaches for Muhammad, and he swats her hand away and says, "Don't touch me, infidel." Not something you want to do on a plane.
Not a good idea. Well, at least not anymore.
Yeah.
There was a time where you could do that, no problem.
Oh, yeah, there was a time.
Back in 89.
Yeah, you could call the stewardess an infidel, and she'll just say, "Just fasten your seatbelt," and then walk away.
Not to mention just calling her a stewardess is no longer acceptable.
Yeah. Nothing would happen.
He's just like, "Hey, where's my Pepsi, infidel?"
Meanwhile, a child with a very real-looking toy Uzi is running up and down the aisle, pretending to kill everyone on the plane. Muhammad questions if what they're doing is the right thing, and Abdul reassures him that it'll take time, but we will get our rights someday. So they're just fighting for their rights as Middle Eastern men?
Yeah,
sure. Everything is super non-specific.
The little boy squirts Abdul in the face with his water gun. Abdul just laughs it off and warns the boy that he shouldn't do things like that. Meanwhile, Muhammad gets up to go to the bathroom, and ominous music plays when he switches the sign from toilet to occupied.
It like zooms in on it and starts playing scary music.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, he's gonna mess that bathroom up.
But he doesn't do anything other than use the bathroom.
Right.
And then he comes out, and a woman going in behind him goes, "Filthy Arab," right to his face.
Racist comment number one of the movie.
Yeah. I was like, they're really making these guys sympathetic in this early part of the movie.
Right,
but at the same time trying to set up that they're, about to do something horrible with all the music tones.
Yeah, it's very confusing. I'm like, what am I supposed to be feeling right now?
So the plane arrives in L.A., the two check in, they get their bags checked by security, and we watch every second of it.
Yep.
All filler, no thriller.
Yeah. Then for some more filler, as Abdul's walking away, some random man walks up to him and says, "Oh, I think you dropped your wallet, sir." And Abdul takes his wallet and says thank you and puts it back in his pocket and leaves. This serves no purpose.
Nothing at all.
It's so weird. It's almost like this movie was made now, but like they're just trying to show things for how it was for them back then or something. It's like there's an expectation that like, oh shit, he's gonna get him. But no, it's just I don't know. Like, what's supposed to happen here?
Yeah.
I have no clue.
No. So outside, they get into a limo and head out. Muhammad starts asking Abdul about a friend of his that he knows that also lives in L.A., and Abdul reveals that this is the one and only Hackstone, and that we'll deal with him later.
That goddamn name. Like, even, okay, I know it's 1989 and shit, but come on, Hackstone.
Yeah. So they arrive at this place where they're staying at and meet up with several other men, and they begin their evil meeting. And they explain that Aziza, a woman on their team, has secured a location to hold their target hostage. There's plenty of guns and supplies at the site. They play a brief video surveillance of where the target's staying at, and the target is well guarded. So Abdul says that he's now in charge of this operation, and they'll hit the target in the morning. They all leave, and Abdul starts looking up numbers in a phone book.
Does he look up hack?
I think
something?
I think he does. He looks up hack.
Looks like Hack Stone in the Yellow Pages.
Yeah. He's got to know where he is. I mean, they're going to deal with him at some point.
I guess, but like, what is he? Is he looking up his dojo or something?
Yeah. He sure is, because now we're going to cut to the dojo, where these two men are sparring. Lots of shots of shuffling feet and heavy breathing to get a sense that they're really working hard here. One gets knocked down and says, "Just when I thought I have you, you deck me, Hack." The other man removes his sparring/hockey mask, and it's old Frank himself. And what's his first line of the movie? "You learn good, Billy." Billy, good boy.
Oh, so, Jesus Christ.
Hack helps Billy up. They go to get some coffee, and Hack starts showing Billy all these covert op pictures he has hanging in the dojo. Billy points out one of Hack and Abdul, and Hack says,
"Isn't that kind of an oxymoron? Covert op pictures?"
Yeah. It's like selfies of them like smiling, like giving thumbs up and stuff.
They're doing like putting their finger over their mouth, like hushing.
Yeah.
It's a secret.
So Hack says that he used to do many secret missions with Abdul and other fun things, if you know what I mean.
No one knows what you mean.
He explains that Abdul was a tough cookie who saved his life once, but then ran off for some cause that Hack doesn't know about or understand. So Billy asks,
but you gotta know about it before you can understand it, I guess.
But then the next sequence is Billy asks if Hack knows where Abdul is currently, and he replies, "In the Middle East. Dead, I hope. That stupid cause."
So is this the first time that they just refer to the Middle East?
Yeah.
Yeah, they never do give a specific country, do they?
Nope.
No. They always refer to it as the Middle East.
We only know that the men they're trying to free are Palestinian being held in Israel, and that's it.
But why couldn't they say that they're Palestinian? They just keep calling them Middle East terrorists.
I don't have these answers. This movie doesn't have these answers.
Sure don't.
But then Hack clears all this up by explaining that one time during a mission, they took 4 prisoners hostage. Abdul wanted to kill them. Hack didn't. 2 escaped. Beeline to Abdul's family. Killed them. Abdul blames Hack. Abdul blames Hack, swears revenge. You got an 80s movie.
Yep, there it is.
How did these prisoners know where Abdul lived?
They're covert op agents.
Because the real reason he's pissed off at old Hack Stone is because right when they were released, he was like, "Hey, here's an address you might find handy."
He was going to order him something on Amazon. He was like, "Hey, Abdul, you still live at you still live on Elm Street?"
Elm Street in the Middle East. Oh God. So Hack then says that he's done with that kind of fighting now, and now it's all about hands and feet and teaching young men to defend themselves, mostly against their wives. Anyway.
Domestic violence is hilarious.
Sometimes you got to put them down, man, you know?
So Billy then reveals that he's a cop, and he's got to go protect some VIP that wants to do some shopping downtown, and that they're really beefing up security for this gig. Uh-oh. You see what's up here, folks? I sure hope Billy doesn't get caught in the crossfire. I've come to love him so much as a character.
Yeah, this took me totally by surprise.
So Hack gets a phone call, and it's old Captain Stills calling for Billy, who tells him that this thing's a-jumping. Get your ass down here. So Hack gets up, looks at the picture on the wall one last time as we hear the horrific sounds of war play out in the background. Meanwhile, a convertible pulls up, and Ozone from Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo gets out. Gets out, walks up to a building, goes in, cut to a big ol' ass.
Yeah.
We're in a strip club, and this strip club employs generic 80s sitcom moms as strippers.
Yeah, it was the saddest strip club in Los Angeles.
So there's some men looking on, giving generic strip club banter. Girls are looking good today. Not as good as the English. Where's England? What?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on here.
That's what they say. And none of these are characters. This is just filler.
Yeah. There's so many goddamn characters in this movie. And none of them have any purpose.
So Ozone comes in. Bruce comes in. Greets the bartender with a, "Sup, cousin? Yeah!"
He's the black guy. He's got to be jive.
The bartender, who I'm fairly sure was one of the convenience store clerks from Encino Man.
Yeah, you know what? It may have been.
Know. You would know.
Bruce tells him, his name's Gandhi, that he heard his wife had won the lottery, and Gandhi says, "Yeah, and I haven't seen her since." Gandhi then produces a hot watch for Bruce to buy, but warns him of the heightened police presence in Beverly Hills. Bruce buys the watch for $50, and after a long, awkward, not working at all handshake, he leaves.
Hold on. Are we just going to gloss over the fact that Chase brought fucking sound effects to the show now?
I know, he's got a soundboard now. The Garbage Theater is moving up.
Jesus Christ.
I knew I had to do that when this joke happened. So,
was this the part where what does he say? He said, "Don't ask me, I'm just an Indian."
Yeah.
I was like, come on, man, Gandhi, have some pride.
Oh, man. So, yeah, that racist remark 2.
Yeah.
Cut to the home of the target. Abdul watches from outside of the gate and readies his team. They all load up more guns than they have men to wield them and head out. A limo pulls up out of the home, and then the van of terrorists follows. Driving.
This limo takes like an eternity to get out of this driveway.
Well, that's a long limo.
Yeah.
It's got waiting for the gate, and then it's like 3 minutes for this.
And then the terrorists follow them very poorly. They're jumping curbs and sliding all over the damn place.
Well, you got to understand. They got to get this done in a hurry, because when they're done with this, they got to go to the Twin Pines Mall to get that crazy scientist that took their plutonium.
So Billy gets an order over his radio, and he's on alert. He's sitting in his car off to the side. A cab pulls up, and a woman gets out and ties her little dog to the parking meter. You think this might be a person of interest? It's not.
Dude, no. This is so weird. She gets out of a taxi, ties her dog to the meter, and then puts money in the meter.
Yeah,
is she paying to park the dog?
Yeah, she's parking her little Cocker Spaniel there.
It's not taking up a space.
I'm not going to pretend to know the laws of L.A. Maybe you got to feed the meter for your little dog.
That's Beverly Hills for you.
So she goes inside a clothing store. Inside, women are trying on clothes. Employees are helping them, doing their jobs. All good things to know. Thanks, movie.
Yeah.
The limo finally pulls up. A woman and several bodyguards get out and enter the store. Billy watches on. The van of
those guys didn't put any money in the meter. Well, this lady's over here putting money in for a dog.
We come to find out they're Secret Service. They don't need to feed no meter.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not above the law.
I totally agree.
Blake, I'm about to unleash you because it's about to happen.
Yes. Can I go?
So the van of terrorists arrive, and Keen-Eye Billy, ever on alert, grabs the first black man he sees and throws him to the trunk of his car and arrests him.
Like, that's how I knew that this movie was officially sanctioned by the LAPD. Because that guy only existed in this movie so a cop could rough up a black guy.
Yep.
That's all it was.
For no reason, with no cause.
No reason, no probable cause, but then, nothing to do with the movie. And then, he arrests him, actually. I'm kind of going to jump a little bit ahead. He arrests him. Things happen, and he just leaves him there.
Yeah. He
also, they couldn't afford handcuffs for this movie because he's got his hands behind his back, and when they put him in the car, you can see his arms pushing himself off the dashboard to get into the passenger seat. And then he just puts his hands back behind his back again.
Well, you remember back in 1989, you couldn't just be black in Beverly Hills. Eddie Murphy hadn't come in and changed things yet.
Well, tell you what, it was uncalled for.
So, Abdul and his men exit the van and take their positions. The van, might I add, is parked directly in front of the limousine. So, Good job, Billy.
It's, as Archie Bunker would say, incognitus.
Abdul signals to one of his men, and he plants a block of plastic explosives in a nearby convertible.
Yep, and it's right here where we saw the future predicted.
Okay.
He puts the bomb in the car. It immediately flashes to Abdul and Muhammad, and the sign directly behind them says ISIS.
Whoa. Maybe this movie was made like a couple of years ago.
Not even pulling, it's a big gold sign that says ISIS Salon.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else to say about that.
Predicted the future.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So Abdul and Muhammad go inside the store and just open fire on the bodyguards, who are conveniently holding their jackets open, ready to catch the bullets.
Yes. Did anybody catch the old lady?
Yeah, got to make sure those squibs go off.
When the gunshots start flying, that old lady that parked her dog just listfully falls to the floor.
Yeah, she just falls down.
The breeze hilarious. Just catches
her.
When
they show the security footage later, she does it again.
One thing about this movie that I was kind of impressed by was when they actually show surveillance footage, it actually looks like surveillance footage.
Yeah, it wasn't just the footage from the movie over.
Yeah, right. It doesn't have angles and cuts and things.
Right.
I was like, look at that detail.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
So then Abdul grabs the woman from the limo out of the dressing room and drags her out of the store. One of the bodyguards manages to get up and shoots Muhammad in the back. One of the two other goons opens fires with his Uzi, completely laying waste to the store and blowing away two women who walk out of the same dressing room stall. If your friend just walked out of the stall during a hail of gunfire, by the way, and was blown away dead, why would you follow her out?
I don't know.
Because she had to go feed the dog meter.
They're also they're trying on lingerie.
Yeah.
And they get hit in the one spot that the clothes actually cover.
Right in the garter
super
belt.
Convenient. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the other goons picks up Muhammad and helps him out. We get a quick glimpse of a security camera that captured it all. Outside, the plastic explosives detonate and blow up the red convertible. Billy, still dealing with this poor black man during this entire shootout, finally notices what's happening. Abdul and his men get back into the van and pull away, undeterred. Billy hauls the black guy up, tells him that they're going for a little ride, and throws him in the car with him and just takes him with him.
Yeah.
From there, he puts the guy in the front of his police car. Well, it's not even a police car. It's just some green piece of shit car.
Right.
Puts him in the front of his car, slaps his little portable siren on the top, and gets on the radio. Crystal, they grabbed her. Give me backups.
All the backups.
That's some real cop chatter right there.
Yeah.
We cut to Crystal, the dispatcher. I got you, Derek. Backups are on the way.
So he's Derek now.
He's Derek now. Is his name Billy Derek?
I don't know.
I didn't pick up on that. Wow.
They switch
his
back and
name
forth
changes.
between calling him Bill and Derek.
Yeah. So Billy's close on the van's tail.
Oh, did you guys notice how Crystal types?
Yes.
By the way?
Yes, I did. She just kind of rubs the keys.
She's mashing her hands flat down on the keyboard.
So
I also think it's pretty shitty that she contacts the news before she dispatches people to help.
Oh my god, Crystal's the worst.
Yeah. So Billy's close on the van's tail. The van tries to lose Billy by moderately changing lanes back and forth at a very reasonable speed. Clearly these terrorists haven't played GTA 5, because when they come up to a police barricade, they swerve to the side instead of just barreling through one of the many van-sized gaps between the police cars.
Yes.
So Billy and the van start trading paint in the tunnel as more cops join the pursuit. Billy's shitbox car gets totaled, so he commandeers another officer's car.
Yeah, he carjacks a cop.
Yeah. First, he leaves the now handcuffed quote unquote criminal in the car. Goes and doesn't he say get out of the fucking car or something like that to the cop?
Yeah, he says like get out of the car, asshole, or something.
Yeah, something like that. It's dude, it's a cop.
And then when he pulls away, you can see there's another cop in the passenger seat. So
because
Billy's got a new partner.
Didn't get out. He just moved over.
Oh, I thought he pulled him out.
No. That cop was like, shit, I got half a dozen Krispy Kremes in here. I ain't getting out of here.
It was sort of at this point that I realized that we're a third through this movie.
Oh, not even.
Already?
Not even.
Not even a third?
I don't think so.
No, this is a half hour in.
Yeah, because I've got a note later on about something else that we'll get to.
Okay.
But yeah, it that I want to go ahead.
But I have no idea why anybody is doing anything. We don't know what the terrorists are doing, what their plan is.
We don't know who this woman is.
We don't know who the woman is. We've seen
why we should care.
Frank Stallone is supposedly our protagonist, but we've only seen him one time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, as they're pursuing them, one of the terrorists climbs up the sunroof of the van and opens fire at the officers. Cops fire back in what shapes up to be a real dull, high-speed shootout. The van pulls under a bridge, weaves through some columns, and manages to slip away between a wooden pallet truck, a truck that carries wooden pallets and Pepsi cans, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all that spills out of it when it stops.
Two things.
This movie... Two
things. One, I'm pretty sure this is the same underpass where Time Barbarians did the deal for the guns in the trunk. Two, these police officers stole fizzy lifting drinks whenever the Pepsi cans came out the truck.
Yes.
Did y'all notice that?
No.
Just because they're cops don't mean they can take Pepsis.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, they stopped right next to the pallet, and then Derek or Billy, whatever the hell his name is, starts grabbing fucking Pepsis.
Yeah, he hands one over to the guy next to him. He's like, here, have a cool, refreshing Pepsi.
Well, most of the things the cops do in this movie don't paint the LAPD as very competent human beings.
No.
This next scene being another one. So the cops are searching for the van. A cruiser finds it. It's empty. Pedestrian tells the officer that they got into a white limo and left. The APB goes out, and the helicopter's brought in. Oh, this fucking helicopter.
Oh, these two fucking... Good Lord.
So they spot the limo on the freeway because, it's a white limousine. Not hard to lose. I mean, It's a freaking white limousine. So they spot it, but then are immediately distracted because there's a pickup truck also driving down the highway with a couple of naked bimbos in the back. Just laying on a blue tarp.
Yeah.
This guy just went down to the whore depot and picked up a couple of skanks.
Yeah. And these two pilots lose their minds.
They're like, oh, I can't believe my eyes. They're looking right at me. Look at those babies. Wowee.
Yeah.
They completely forget that they're cops, and they completely forget that they're in a helicopter on a mission.
That's insane. Can you imagine, if, during the OJ chase, the footage just ended up being half, two naked girls in a pickup truck?
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. So, as expected, the limo gets away and pulls up to the hideout, the new hideout, and they drag the woman inside. Abdul helps Muhammad up the stairs. They tie the woman up to a bed and spit in her face a couple of times for good measure.
Yeah, that was kind of uncalled for.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Aziza and Abdul tend to Muhammad's wounds, and then they start loading up the guns, getting ready for the cops to arrive. Abdul gets on the radio to the other men back at the original hideout, informing them that Muhammad's been shot and they need a doctor.
Boy, they didn't like him calling them either.
No, that guy was mad immediately.
Yeah.
This radio is for emergencies only. Well, hold on, Chief. It might be an emergency.
One of us is shot anyway, by the way.
But he doesn't lose his anger, though. He's like, well, we'll see what we can do for him.
So Abdul gives Muhammad a cigarette and tells him that he's got one more score to settle in L.A. So, yeah, this is where I want to say, I made a note. I want to point out that we're almost halfway through the movie at this point, and Frank Stallone has had one scene.
Right.
Like, we're 5 minutes away from the halfway point. One scene.
Yeah.
So either one of two things has happened. One, they don't want him to outshine the real star Stallone, of being Sylvester. Like they're like, whoa, Frank Stallone's too good. maybe we shouldn't put him on camera because then we're gonna have to replace him for Rocky IV. And that's one option. The other option is they were like, boy, was this a mistake.
I think they had him for 2 days. One day was they shot everything at the dojo.
Yeah.
And then day 2 was the rest of
the movie.
So do you think maybe he was? Do you think he was like a prick on set? Was he like a Seagal on set that thought that he knew everything? And
do you know who the fuck I am?
Yeah. Do you know whose
Frank
brother I am?
Stallone.
Do you know who the fuck I am? You don't.
You ever hear Rocky? You ever hear Rambo? Well,
I'm Rambo's brother. Now give me a Pepsi.
Don't tell that asshole Derek to bring me a Pepsi.
So we then cut to news anchor Tony Exposition LaMotta, a.k.a. Budget John Lovitz.
Oh my God, I have Budget John Lovitz written down too.
Yes!
Wait, hold on. Let me make the trifecta because I was, of course, I don't say budget, but I was thinking great value John Lovitz.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because all I could think was him doing those newscasts, but every once in a while, being on the critic, just going, ahem.
Was his name LaMotta or just Mata?
I got both. Just like Billy is both Billy and Derek.
Okay.
I think it was just Mata.
My captions went back and forth the whole movie.
Well, in the credits, it was Mata, and I know Stills calls him LaMotta several times.
Okay, maybe it's just Mata.
Stills also tells him to open an Italian restaurant.
Yeah, get to that too. He's reading the report. It turns out this kidnapped woman is Margaret, the president's daughter. Okay, now we're getting something here. So it's pretty easy to get to the president's daughter, don't you think?
Yeah.
And that's it for that scene. Just delivering that news. That's the president's daughter who was kidnapped
by Middle East terrorists.
Yeah,
which again is information they didn't. How could they know that?
Was that the scene where he answered the phone?
No, it's coming up.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry.
So Abdul then instructs the president's daughter to read their list of demands into the radio. She refuses, saying her father couldn't comply with these demands. Lady, do you know what's happening to you right now?
Yeah, exactly. Read the goddamn letter.
So Abdul gives her a slap, and then she agrees. She reads the demands, and they state that they'll let her go if the president orders the release of the 55 Palestinian men from Israeli custody. If he doesn't comply, his daughter will die, and he's got 12 hours to do it. So we cut back to Mr. Exposition.
Well, there's immediately a problem, obviously, with this, and it ends up being a running problem with the movie where, there's a thing about middlemen Information's always being relayed through another person for no reason. Yeah. But like, if you want Israel to release some your boys, try this shit in Israel, bro.
Yeah, take the Israeli prime minister's daughter.
Nah, that's not near. How would we get Frank Stallone involved?
In all honesty, like they just did they could have accomplished the same thing by taking the Guatemalan president's daughter. Yeah. I mean, it really doesn't matter.
We got to get that U.S. president to throw his weight around,
and just an example of the middleman thing. We cut back to Anchorman Mr. Exposition receiving a phone call at his desk on camera from the terrorist. Abdul calls him directly.
Like on the news.
Yeah. Hello? Non-specific TV station?
Like, yeah, he says, hello, TV station? Is this a TV station? It's a pizzeria. God damn it. We try again.
To me, the fact that just him answering a phone, it's like, why is the phone even there?
God damn it. So he has Tony has his men record the message. A call is then placed to Captain Stills' office. Okay.
This guy saved the fucking movie for me, by the
way. They call one of his men, Lenny, answers the phone and still tells him, I want you to put a trace on that goddamn call. And then Lenny goes, put a trace on it. Harder! A super trace! Give me that goddamn phone, you stupid son of a bitch!
A super trace?
Like, we didn't need Frank Stallone. We just need more of Captain Stills.
Oh, you can make a show out of Captain Stills and Lenny.
Oh, my God.
Stills and Lenny, that's it right there.
That's it.
Put a trace on it. Harder. A super trace. Give me that goddamn trace.
Like, didn't even give him a chance. Just fuck it.
And then he does order a super trace.
Yeah, it's in all seriousness.
Yeah.
Like, one of them super traces. Captain, that's not a real thing.
Give me that goddamn phone.
Yeah, the back and forth sounded like something at a police academy, but he was actually serious.
Mm-hmm.
There's some stuff in here that's just like pure comedy. I mean, like, yeah. How do you write super traits in a serious movie?
Well, like you said, the door thing that's coming up, that was just comedy gold.
And I also want to point out that the clock on the wall in Stills' office, you can tell they shot all of Stills' office scenes in one sitting in quick succession. Because of all the scenes in his office, the clock moves 15 minutes.
Nice.
Oh my God. See, Cameron Mitchell's an absolute pro.
Yeah, one take wonder.
One take Mitchell. Give me that goddamn phone. We done here?
So Stills is still super pissed about his super trace, and he's sure he's gonna lose. He's gonna lose his goddamn pension. So, the first of many mentions of it. Lenny informs him that the super trace failed, and all that they know about the terrorists that they're somewhere near the ocean. Oh, if you've got a super trace, why don't you just use the super trace all the time? Why is there the option?
Yeah. Why do you fuck with that regular trace at all?
And then Super Freak turned on the radio.
So...
No, not those handcuffs, the super cuffs.
So, cut back to Tony Exposition, with the security camera footage of the kidnapping. Abdul and Aziza are watching, and Abdul says, "Damn security camera, why didn't we kill it before?" "I don't know, Abdul. We're just not very good terrorists." So, Stills and Lenny are also watching the report. And the press secretary says that the president will call in the military if necessary. And also, they say that Stills has been put in charge of the case. The president's daughter's kidnapped by terrorists, and they put the head of the LAPD in charge of the whole operation.
And he appears to be just finding this out from the TV.
Yeah. He finds out from Tony LaMotta.
All the cops are just standing around watching the TV for their information, like instead of being out doing police work.
I'm in charge, son of a bitch.
God damn it! I'm 2 weeks from my pension.
Hang on, let me call Tony directly at his desk and clear this up.
Tony, get me the president.
Hello, this is the president.
Might I remind you I'm the president? So, cut back to Hackstone, finally.
Hackstone.
Hack's watching the report amongst all of his trophies, including his wife. So we just get a little taste of Frank, and then we cut to the White House, and the president's on the phone telling someone that he's got bigger things to worry about right now than pretending to be on the phone. God damn it. So he tells his cabinet that he's tired of being tied up in all these Middle East politics. What am I, the president or something? So they assure him that they'll figure out a way to get his daughter back. The president dismisses them and says he has to talk to the prime minister of Israel. Then we cut back to the hilarious screwball comedy of Funny Copter with Dink and Donk as they search for the terrorist holdup.
They pulled their peepers away from them titties long enough to find the president's daughter.
So they spot
and LaCroix just came out of my nose.
So they spot the limo, and it's down at the old bean factory. I knew that talking dog Duke was up to no good, working with ISIS to get that family bean recipe.
Did somebody get a counter on how many times they said old bean factory too?
They can't call it anything but the old bean factory.
Like no address. Like whenever they're sending backup, it's like they don't even give the address. You know, the old bean factory.
Got it. Everyone knows the old bean factory.
Yeah, that bean factory. Fuck it, never mind. Not saying it.
It's been closed since the bean shortage of 76.
Oh, shit.
So we cut back to Crystal, the police dispatcher, who calls Tony Exposition to give him the scoop. Instead of putting out the call, like Blake said earlier, calls the media. Tony, fabulous, fantastic. Thanks, hon. The check is in the mail. That's the ticket. So, only then does she inform the officers of where the terrorists are. The police surround the factory as Abdul reassures Muhammad that the doctor will be here soon. The cops probably just wanting to negotiate. More and more police arrive as we're forced to watch the dispatcher call out every number known to man, sending units to the old bean factory off 101.
Still in every individual car to go to the old bean factory. Oh my god.
Then after that she goes, red alert, go paramedics, go SWAT team.
That's not how dispatching works, by the way.
But where? You didn't say where, lady. The paramedics and the SWAT team will never get there.
Well, when she says SWAT team go, the SWAT team's already there. They just get out of the truck. So they were just waiting in the truck, waiting on old girl to just call out their name, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Like, we can't be of any help until they tell us to get out of this truck.
So the police post up, and they watch the terrorist watch them through binoculars.
Yeah.
Sills goes over the plan and says the president has ordered them not to fire a single bullet. Close the goddamn fucking doors! Tight! Super tight!
I don't want to get shot in the back. God, is there no one that can close these doors? My kingdom for a closed door.
Oh, thank God I got this pension coming up. I feel like whoever wrote the screenplay for this knew a bunch of cop terms, but not the actual context or how to use them.
Yeah, for sure.
Just peppered them in.
In his notes, he just said pension equals good.
Pitching good, fire bad.
I'm pretty convinced that I think Cameron Mitchell ad-libbed a lot of the best stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So
there was a part here where like one of the terrorists is looking out at the police and he's really sort of, I don't know, he's like excited that they're there or something.
Yeah.
He's like, Abdul, some police have come out. They're looking at us.
They're looking at us.
They're looking right at us.
Oh man. So from here, the president is back on the phone. He's on the phone with the Prime Minister of Israel about the situation. He's pleading with him to make a decision as soon as he can because he's only got a few hours to deal with these terrorists. He orders word, get to the terrorists, that he's awaiting an answer from Israel. And then he calls up Marine Corps General Gray. And in this dialogue on the phone is where he starts the conversation and ends it with reminding everyone that he's the president.
Right.
Abdul then calls the police that are there. The police that are there because they have the president's daughter. He calls them to inform them that they have the president's daughter.
You know, also now that I'm thinking about it, he was upset about the security footage. But, like, when you pull a move like kidnapping the president's daughter, don't you want people to know that you did it?
Yeah, who cares?
So why would he care about the security camera?
There's no explanation.
No.
Okay.
So, back outside, Billy shows up and Stills grills him over his wardrobe for some reason. So,
what is this Mickey Mouse bullshit? Close that fucking door.
Close the door. My pension.
It reminds me of Uncle Leo from Seinfeld. Somebody answer the goddamn phone. None of this stuff's actually happening. So,
shit.
They give the phone to Billy. Wonderful idea. And
well, this is where they start calling him Derek.
Yeah.
They're like, where the hell's Derek? Here's the phone, Derek.
I'm going to keep calling him Billy.
This is Derek?
So, the dispatcher, and, okay. The terrorists call the police dispatch to tell them they have the president's daughter. The dispatch calls the police that are there at the site to connect them to the terrorist.
How do they get all these numbers?
I don't know. She also says he's on... the dispatcher says he's on, like, line 5 or something.
Yeah.
It's like, this dude's car phone doesn't have lines. Just fucking put him through, you idiot.
She says in a regular tone of voice, we have a terrorist call on line 5.
Yeah.
She's the middleman. We got the president calling, whatever, Major Gray or whatever as a middleman. There's so many middlemen.
So Abdul tells Billy that they need a doctor, and he threatens to kill Margaret. Billy says that we'll send up a paramedic, but then he gets the crazy idea that he should go in, because he's had some medical training. Still says, okay, we're going to put a bug on you, Billy, a super bug. Back at the White House, the president's talking to General Gray. Gray says that he's got just the man for the job. Okay, the call to action, step goddamn 2 of the hero's journey, is 2/3 of the way into this movie.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Is this the part where it pans across the president's desk and it's just like thousands of phones? Every desk in this movie has like phones and Pepsis on it.
Just fill it up with shit. We gotta make this movie look legitimate.
Phones and the ubiquitous, slightly worse than Coke flavor of Pepsi Cola.
Well, we're not going to be sponsored by Pepsi Cola anytime soon.
Way to go, John.
So Gray says that he's got just the man, and his name's Hackstone, and the president should remember him. You pinned the Medal of Honor on him anyway, sir.
See, why couldn't the president call him direct? They know each other. They established this.
Well, he didn't know he'd be the perfect man for this job.
What did he do to get a Medal of Honor?
I don't know.
We aren't told.
No, he let some prisoners escape. I know that much.
Yeah. Got a bunch of people killed.
So the president orders the general to activate Hack Stone immediately. Get him on the case. So cut to Hack in scene number 3. His son's being a little show-off, talking about teacher says that he may skip a grade, really rubbing it in.
Yeah.
Mrs. Stone is there, tells him to go wash up, because he's been in his gi for the last 30 years. Just then, a call from Washington, and it's not the president, it's Gray. Gray informs Hack of the situation and tells him that Abdul is the man in charge and that he's the only man for the job. And he leaves the decision up to Hack, and he says that he's his man. So he tells his wife
Hack says he hasn't. Hack says he's not very good at making decisions.
Yeah.
And that the last one that he made didn't turn out so well.
Yeah, the last one he made didn't turn out so well.
So he hasn't made any decisions in years.
Unless he was talking about his son.
So he tells his wife not to worry, because Hack don't kill that easy.
That don't make any sense.
The press arrive at the scene of the old bean factory, and it's none other than Tony Exposition. He tells his crew not to get shot as he goes to talk to Stills. The terrorists see the press arrive, and they think that it's a good thing because it's going to show that they mean business. Stills comes out, says that he's got a statement, and mentions his pension again for some goddamn reason.
Yep.
He gives his statement, which is pretty much everything everyone already knows. As he delivers this, a plane flies over, and he made a choice as an actor to acknowledge it constantly by always looking up at the sky while he's talking like a crazy person, muttering, "God damned airplanes."
That's what made me love this man.
Yeah.
Like, he knew he was in a shitty movie, and he was like, fuck it, I just want to go home. Obviously the planes are flying over all day by the old bean factory, and they weren't going to have any quiet time. Yeah. He was just ready to go.
So he then closes his statement by saying there's been several setbacks in their attempts to rescue her. What setbacks? The fact that you haven't?
Yeah. They haven't even tried yet.
Yeah.
You don't understand. They're super setbacks.
Yeah. Stills then tells Mata, "Why don't you go open an Italian restaurant?"
Son of a bitch.
So I guess that's supposed to be a hurtful remark?
I need to get one of them things.
So Billy then approaches the old bean factory, where he's greeted by Aziza, and she searches him for weapons and blindfolds him. She leads him up to where they're keeping Muhammad, and we cut to a helicopter flying over the old bean factory with a man just dangling from the stirrups for no reason.
He's just hanging on.
Which, okay, whenever he does land, I don't know if that's at this point or not, it's really pointless that he's hanging on to the landing gear.
Why couldn't he just been inside the helicopter and then hopped out?
Because he was tied off to the gear. They showed like the silhouette when it gets on the roof. They show him unhooking like a cable. So you could have just sat inside the helicopter.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then when they dropped him off, he's like running around aimlessly on the roof.
Shit, I thought I was actually going to be able to do something up here, but
I thought there was a way in up here. I'm just stuck.
It would have been better if he just like looked towards the camera, just shrugged his shoulders, like, I don't know what the fuck goes on.
Yeah, he's like, his arms go up, like, what?
So Billy's looking over Muhammad and dresses his wounds. Stills is listening in on the superbug, and he overhears them saying that Muhammad's dying and he needs to be brought to a real hospital. Billy asks to see the president's daughter to assure the police that she's okay. A brilliant move on his part, as he's knocked out immediately and searched, and the bug is found. Abdul tells the police that through the bug that this is their last mistake, and one more trick and the girl dies. But for now, Billy will be killed. You asshole. And then the mystery man on the roof is looking for a way in still, as Billy's taken into another room where Aziza and one of the other goons swat at him lightly with balsa wood boards, screaming, "Die, American, die!" They're just going to beat him to death with boards.
Aziza chick, like every time she was in the movie, because she was always like just super pissed off. Like, honestly, the first thing that popped in my mind was, I bet you she takes angry shits.
Get out of me, infidel.
So Billy fights them off because, they're balsa wood boards.
Right.
And Aziza remembers that she's holding an assault rifle and shoots Billy in the leg to drop him down to his knees. She then forgets she has the assault rifle, takes the shotgun from the other goon that he forgot he had, and shoots Billy in the back, killing him. So the man on the roof finally gets a plan and starts to rappel down to a window when Muhammad comes to for just enough time to see him, shoot him dead, and then pass out. So tough luck for that asshole on the roof.
Yeah, good plan.
He dangles from his rappel cord as Abdul then looks out the window and yells, "If you try any more rescue attempt, I throw her out the window, President Daughter." That'll get their attention. So Stills then gets a call from Gray telling him that Hack's on the way. Stills comes back out to tell the media, all one of them, that he'll inform them of any new information when he gets it. And Mata then asks, what's Hack Stone's first move? How the hell does he know Hack Stone's on the way?
Because that dumb bitch dispatcher's telling him everything.
I guess that makes sense.
Everyone knows Hack Stone's coming, and it's compromised the whole situation.
Yeah.
Even the terrorists are like, hey, you guys hear Hack Stone's on his way?
So, and then Stills doesn't question that fact at all. He just tells them to go open a second Italian restaurant.
I hope your first one's successful and you can open a second location.
I hope you can franchise that son of a bitch. Another helicopter arrives, no man dangling from it this time, and Hack Stone hops out. Abdul's watching from the window and recognizes his old friend and calls his partners, telling them that Hack's arrived and he wants to be the one to kill him. But they tell him to focus on the mission and let them deal with Hack. Stills gives Hack the situation, still bitching about his goddamn pension.
Mm-hmm.
Hack tells him that those men are ready to die for a cause, just like you and I are. And that he just told the president yesterday that if they give in to these terrorists, they'll try to run the whole show. The hell you did? You just got called into this just now. When did a night cycle pass?
Well, maybe there was another international incident that they put him in charge of.
This whole scene reminds me of that bit on Jimmy Fallon does where they act out scenes written by children.
Oh, yeah.
It's like everything's really oversimplified and I don't know. It's pretty good.
So Still says that he knows some tyrant is behind this and tells everybody to show Hack where the terrorists are. I think they're in the bean factory.
Yeah.
So we then cut to Hack's son, who's playing soccer solely with his hands, when some random terrorist goon shows up and snatches him up. And
so much for him skipping a grade, he doesn't even know how to play soccer.
Yeah. So then they grab his wife out of the house and take them away. Abdul gets a call that the other group has Hack's family, that they can use that to force his hand. He then calls Hack and tells him that they have his family. Hack then immediately gives up on the mission and says, I got to sit this one out because they got my family and, I kind of want them back. So he says that this isn't my fight. This wasn't my decision. Actually, yeah, it was, Hack.
It specifically was your decision.
But we know you're not good at making those decisions, so maybe you forgot.
Yeah.
So Hack then launches into this. He tells Stills that, I'm just a private citizen right now. Then Stills launches into this speech. The private citizen is the law. Lawmakers make the law, and the law is made by the law, and assholes like him enforce the law, but the citizens uphold the law, which is the law on the law. And there is no law if the citizen doesn't uphold the law, which he is. You got that? Shit!
Can I just say I was immediately enraged by that, too? That's not how this works.
Nope.
At all.
at any time as a private citizen, you can be called up to oust some terrorists from a bean factory.
Right.
It's your duty as a citizen.
So Hack then responds to that by this little, like, slow clap. Bullshit. So they then get a report that some suspicious-looking characters were seen taking a woman and child into a beach house. It still says that they'll go rescue your family, Hack, but you got to stay here and deal with Abdul. And Hack says the only way to beat those that fight dirty is to fight dirtier. And still says, I just hope one day we don't wake up to find out we're the dirty ones.
See, written by children.
I have no words. So Stills then heads out. They're going to go rescue Hack's family. Hack is outfitted with a spool of blue rope and an assault rifle. All the supplies a Marine needs.
That's right.
That's it.
He then just kind of strolls up to the factory, snacking on some old beans he finds laying out on the way.
Doesn't he know this is the old bean factory? You know how long they've been there?
Well, it's the old bean factory, but it's fully stocked.
But hold on.
There's beans to the roof.
Is it called the old bean factory because it's just been there forever, or do they manufacture old beans?
I don't know, but it has plenty of beans in it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And it seems to be working with no workers there at all. Like, machinery's
Jeez. He puts this bean in his mouth, and there's this like long tracking shot of him looking around, and he's chewing the bean the entire time.
Because it's a dry, hard-ass bean.
It's some old bean.
Oh, God.
Frank Stallone, that was actually ad-lib from Frank Stallone. Like, he thought it was a jelly bean, and then when he realized the camera was on, he was like, well, I guess I better go with it now.
I gotta commit to my decision.
That's right.
I gotta keep chewing.
I keep making these bad decisions.
I gotta bust up my molars on this rock hard bean.
The super bean.
He then moves through the factory, clearing rooms by twirling around like a ballerina.
Elite Marine spin moves.
Yeah. We then cut upstairs to Margaret, still tied to the bed. And she seems to be trying to sexually entice one of the terrorists over by rubbing her legs together and breathing hard, making eye contact. And
I don't think
it
that's
worked.
what she was supposed to be trying to do.
It's what she was doing.
I know.
Yeah, she was rubbing her legs together for sure, like some kind of cricket. But like, then when it gets into her face, and she's like terrified, and her face is like streaked in tears.
Yeah. But the plan kind of works because the terrorist comes over and starts like rubbing her on her leg, and she protests, and then he rips open her shirt, and she begs him that I'll do whatever you want, and you just untie me. So he does, and then she claws at his face and gets free.
Well, yeah, I guess it worked.
Yeah. So again, top-notch terrorists we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
Abdul hears something and readies his gun. Margaret's running down the hallway and gets stopped by Abdul as he jumps out in front of her and shoots his pistol in the air. So she didn't get far. Hack's slowly making his way down a staircase as Abdul scolds his man for letting Margaret loose and tells him to tie her up again.
So she was like screaming like crazy.
Yeah, screaming yeah.
And it cuts back to Hack, and he doesn't hear any of it. I was like, Hack, I think you're in the wrong building.
Well, Billy couldn't hear all the gunfire when he was staking out the clothing store.
That's true.
So, meanwhile, at the beach house headquarters of the terrorist, Lenny and some officers approach, guns ready. They surround the house as the Stone family is inside, tied up and gagged. The cops pretty much just walk into the house as these terrorists are terrible. However, you can't really say much about the cops because the one that's going inside picked a sniper rifle as his indoor assault weapon.
Yeah, a silenced sniper rifle.
It's got the longest gun I've ever seen.
But how are you supposed to clear a hallway with that?
Yeah, but it actually proves useful because he spins around and he snipes a terrorist making tea in the eye that's about 6 feet away from him. The length of the gun away from him.
Yeah. They were 6 feet apart, but the shot was point blank.
I could say something about the firearms here, but every movie makes the same mistake that a silencer does not make a gun whisper quiet, by the way.
Yeah, they keep letting that slide these days. I don't know why. Even in this modern era.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? It's for the drama of it all.
Well, it's wrong. Except for John Wick 2. That was an awesome silencer scene.
Yes. I still haven't seen it. Shut up. I haven't seen it yet. Oh. I've got it on my DVR. I just haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
So the terrorist here, the dog barking from Carnage, still barking away.
I knew we were going to reference Carnage.
And they go to investigate the dog. An Asian cop springs into action and puts a judo hold on one of the terrorists and chokes him out. The last remaining terrorist notices the dead man in the kitchen and runs out the back, and the police spring into action, telling him to freeze, and immediately blow him away into the swimming pool.
Oh, yeah. You can't say freeze while you're pulling the trigger of a shotgun.
Yeah. They shoot him in the stomach, but he grabs his throat as he falls. Lenny then walks up to the pool and empties his shotgun into the floating corpse.
That's crazy, dude. So Lenny looks like Ozzie Davis. Like old Ozzie Davis. And he's just going straight death wish on this motherfucker in the pool. It's crazy.
Lenny has some anger issues.
Well, yeah, he's been dealing with stills for 25 years.
Then he walks away and says, "That guy made my day."
Jesus Christ, Lenny's a psycho.
They go inside, they free the Stone family, and take them to safety. Back at the bean factory, Hack takes out one of the terrorists first, there's a terrorist and he's kind of like hitting on Aziza, and she pushes him away and goes into the bathroom. And just then Hack jumps out.
Angry shit.
Yeah. Hack jumps out and strangles him out, and then follows Aziza into the bathroom. And then she says, "Oh, is that you, Ali?" And then Hack goes, "Alley-oop."
Oh, fuck.
Then he chokes her out. Muhammad hears the commotion, grabs a gun, pulls himself up, slips out the room, just as Hack leaps into the opposite door and fires recklessly into the room that could have the president's daughter in it for all he knows.
It's insane.
So he walks through the room, randomly shooting up the walls and doors. I don't know what the hell he's trying to do here. I guess now that his family's safe, who gives a shit?
Right.
Yeah. I'm just going to kill all these dudes accidentally.
Yeah. He opens the door that he filled with bullets, and Muhammad's lifeless body collapses onto the floor. Abdul jumps on a bean lift and takes...
maybe his name is short for Wall Hack.
And just shoots everybody through the walls.
John doesn't get a little rim shot for that.
I didn't have it ready. You want a rim shot? Get your own damn rim shot and use it.
It just came to me. I wasn't prepared either.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It was a good one.
So Abdul rides a bean lift up to the floor where Hack is and opens fire. And he tosses a grenade up in Hack's general direction to slow him down. He then grabs Margaret and takes her up a ladder. And then another terrorist rides the bean lift up and is met by Hack, who shoots him dead. And by dead, I mean he shoots him, and the terrorist bows his arms out like he's trying to give Hack a hug, teeters around for about a half an hour, and then falls over.
I really lost my sense of space within this bean factory when they started going up and down these lifts and all that shit.
Oh, it's a freaking funhouse.
Yeah.
And then Hack says, "Oh, they don't make them like they used to." Thanks, Hack.
Yeah, what is that?
What, terrorists?
Terrorists? People? What is he talking about?
So Abdul calls out to his friends, but there's only Hack, who demands that he lets Margaret go. Hack offers that he can walk Abdul out unharmed if he releases her. And Abdul says, "If my cause is lost, then I'm a dead man anyway, and dead men don't walk." Okay.
Sure.
No, it's a true statement.
Margaret manages to get away from Abdul and runs off. Hack tells Abdul that he didn't kill his family, and it was just a bad decision. One of many, many bad decisions that Hack's made. Abdul blames the government for it now and runs after Margaret. And she's only a few feet away, apparently, and he comes back with her. Has her at gunpoint. Hack tells Abdul that still hiding behind a woman, huh? When was that established as a thing?
That's not a thing.
So, at this, Abdul's so enraged by this comment, he releases Margaret and drops his gun. Hack still has his gun.
Yeah.
But opts to drop his. You had him.
Bad decision.
You had him, you idiot. He gave up. So...
they gotta fight it out like real men.
Yeah. So after he drops his gun, he also drops his trusty blue rope that he so badly needed.
Yeah.
And the showdown begins. And the showdown is just the two of them trading punches that never come remotely close to landing, never protecting their heads, just taking blows over and over and over and over. And this goes on for quite some time when Hack tells Abdul that no cause is worth dying for. Then Abdul says something dumb like, I'll show you a goddamn cause, and jumps out the window.
Yeah.
Okay, number one, no cause is worth dying for. Really, Hack, you were a Marine.
Yeah.
True.
Also in his conveation...
a Marine that received the Medal of Honor, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his conversation with Stills, he said we're both men... willing to die for a cause.
It's the old reverse psychology angle.
Come on, Hack.
So, Abdul hits the ground, and the police open fire and riddle Abdul with bullets as he lay helpless on the ground. Hack screams out the window not to shoot. Hack gets down to Abdul in about 2 seconds because he finds the warp pipe or something to get down there. And somehow, after falling from a window and being shot 1,000 times, Abdul is still alive.
Which they shouldn't have shot him, by the way.
Yeah, well...
Like, I understand, like, he's a terrorist.
They spooked him. He came out the window. Ooh.
It's an unarmed man who jumped out of a window.
Guy jumping out of the window, get him! So, Hack cradles Abdul and asks him why. And Abdul says, "You're asking me why?" And then he says something that was too quiet for the captions to pick up, so they're lost to time. And then he dies. And Hack holds his old dead friend one last time and lays his body down. It's all madness. The police rescue Margaret and deny Tony Exposition an interview with her. The dispatcher puts out the word that the president's daughter is safe. And Hack is reunited with his family at the crime scene for something. They bring them to the crime scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the movie ends. Roll credits. But with a special thanks to the California Bean Growers Association. Yeah, that was in there.
Really?
Yes.
Holy shit.
That was an actual functioning bean factory.
But it was old beans.
It's historical.
Well, I bet you some of them bean farmers like, shit, they made all our beans look old.
Yeah.
Did they thank Pepsi?
They did.
They did?
Yeah, they thanked Pepsi. They thanked the Israeli government because they actually shot the Middle East scenes in Israel.
Dude, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
Because, I was like, when Abdul jumps out the window, it's like the worst. He like fails. He like hits his leg on the edge or something.
He doesn't jump. Yeah, he doesn't jump out as much as he just kind of hinges out.
Yeah, he just tumbles out. And I'm like, you could afford to shoot in Israel, but you couldn't afford the breakaway glass to run that window jump back. Like,
yeah. Oh man, that was that. Terror in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Fun times. All right, who's ready to do some bonus questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, me.
Let's see if anybody can get some bonuses. All right, so 2 questions will be asked. Question number 1. In the dojo, by Hack's desk, there are many trophies and award banners hanging on the wall. How many triangular banners are hanging on the wall?
Oh, shit.
Question number 2. Who was Muhammad deported by?
Oh.
There we go.
Shit.
Let's see. How many triangular banners hanging by Hack's desk?
I put 5.
I guessed 4.
There were 2. There were 6 banners, but only 2 of them were triangles.
Oh.
Question number 2. Who was Muhammad deported by?
I put Guatemala.
Spain.
The Spaniards.
Oh, look at that.
I fucking knew that one.
Point for John.
Good job.
Nice. Let's see. I had a couple of other ones that I was wondering. Let's just do them for kicks.
Okay.
What color was the dog lady's hat?
Red.
Blue.
Oh, shit.
John would have gotten that one too. What was the name of the White House press secretary?
Oh, it's George McCann.
George McCann.
What?
And what was the name of General Gray's driver?
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know that one.
He only says it once. Jimmy. So There we go. John got a point. I got a point. John got a point.
Huh.
Blake, you need to get a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get interested in winning until I have the lead. So.
Well, you don't have the lead right now.
No, I don't. So I have no interest in winning.
You're actually not going to find out if you have the lead until we actually take the exam at the end, and then it's over.
Yeah.
So, doesn't bode well for Blake is what we're saying.
No, I'll be in dead last this season. I blew my wad in season 2.
Well, it's time for Coming Attractions.
Plus, I know John's just going to cheat anyway.
Okay. Coming Attractions time. Blake, it's your turn. What you got for us?
All right. So I had a real, a big decision in front of me.
Uh-oh. Oh, you still haven't decided?
No. I decided. I think I went with the right one. But I had 2 movies, and I've been thinking about it for a week. Because on the one hand, I want to bring the triumphant return of Steven Seagal back into the fold, considering we didn't have him at all in season 2.
Not a single Seagal movie in season 2.
And then on the other hand, I found this just fucking perfect movie.
Uh-oh.
So I didn't know what to do.
Is it perfect or is it Blake perfect?
No, it is perfect. Like, it may come out later, but oh my God, is it perfect. So I guess I just gave it away. I'm not picking the perfect movie. We're going with a Seagal movie.
Oh, man.
And it's a Seagal movie that I didn't get to watch in season 1.
Uh-oh.
So it's Maximum Conviction.
The conviction.
The one with him and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
So I'll read the summary real quick. When former Black Ops operative Cross and his partner Manning, who are Seagal and Austin respectively, are assigned to decommission an old prison, they must oversee the arrival of 2 mysterious female prisoners. Before long, an elite force of mercenaries assault the prison in search of the new arrivals. As the true identities of the women are revealed, Cross realizes he's caught in the middle of something far bigger than he had imagined. This from all the reviews that I've read, this is a shit show. Wait, let me find. I had a note about it. Apparently,
without knowing anything about it, I'm just kind of picturing like The Raid, but with Seagal in it.
I wouldn't even give it that much.
And how hilarious that would be.
Apparently, Seagal and this director became really good friends, and they did a bunch of stuff together.
Oh, that doesn't bode well.
What was the name of the director? I forget his name. Doesn't matter.
You got to reel Seagal in, not befriend him and let him do what he wants.
Yeah. So in 2009, this guy directed Seagal in The Keeper and then A Dangerous Man, and then he did. He's the director of the True Justice series, where they follow him around in Jefferson Parish.
Oh God.
And then they did Maximum Conviction together. And the one quote I found from a critic about Seagal's performance, it said he actually talks with his own voice, and he even smiles a couple times. So, but like I said, it's just going to be a shit show. It's the tagline for the movie is the last thing I want to talk about. Tagline for the movie: maximum conviction, maximum security, maximum firepower.
What the fuck?
Oh my god.
So there you go. We're watching a Seagal movie.
Well, so we've officially solidified we're watching at least 2 Seagal movies.
Yeah.
This season.
Yeah, and I will say I do want to have a bunch of Seagal stories peppered in. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a short one now.
Okay.
Rob Schneider was on the Howard Stern show talking about Steven Seagal. And him and Damon Wayans are friends. Or is it Damon Wayans? Keenan? One of them. The one he did Glimmer Man with. One of the Wayans people. And he said that was right about the time that he had become a llama. And he came to the set and he was telling everybody that, you know, they needed to balance their feelings. And he was all about being zen and all this shit. And so he's telling the Wayans guy about how to find his center and put positivity out into the world and all that. And he said right then, Seagal's assistant came in and said that his wife wasn't going to let him have the kids that weekend. And he immediately starts saying, "You tell that fucking bitch that isn't what we agreed on."
Oh, man.
Oh man, I get to lose my Seagal virginity on the show.
Oh yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
You got to practice your voice like this.
Yeah, you have to talk like this and make a lot of food puns.
Yeah.
I hope he balances a gun on his belly.
Yes, I hope he wears the butter glasses.
That's why they're yellow. It makes everything look like butter.
Anybody hear a falcon?
Christ almighty. Okay, yeah. Well, there we go. We're watching Maximum Conviction, the most conviction you can get.
That's right.
Absolute most.
Steven Seagal. Is this on? What's this on?
It's on Amazon.
Amazon. Fantastic. All right. Well, on that note, I just want to thank everybody that's been listening. If you wouldn't mind leaving us a review or a rating on iTunes, we would so very much appreciate that. If you like what you've been hearing, tell your friends. Tell whoever you would like, who you think might like this thing that we do here.
Yeah, tell your enemies.
Yeah, especially the fungicide episode. Make them watch the movie first, though. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Garbage Theater. You can also follow us on Twitter at @Garbage_Theater and on Instagram at @Garbage_Theater. If you've got a suggestion for a movie, send it our way. Send it to any one of those social media channels, or you can email us directly at garbagetheaterpodcast@gmail.com. On that note, anybody have any last words before we sign out?
No, sir.
I got nothing.
Close the goddamn door! All right, folks. We'll see you next time.